Welcome back to the Tower and another installment of Distory, a monthly series where I talk about a significant event in the history of Disney parks and resorts on the day that it happened. On this day back in 1975, we welcomed Space Mountain here to the Magic Kingdom in Orlando, Florida. Space Mountain is currently the oldest operating coaster in the state of Florida and is so iconic that it has went on to be replicated at every Disney resort around the globe, with the exception of Shanghai. The idea for a space-themed roller coaster first came to Walt after seeing the success of the first mountain-based Disney attraction, the Matterhorn bobsleds. Walt first discussed the ideas he had for this attraction with designer John Hench in 1964. John Hench is a pretty big deal in Disney history himself, with contributions to such classic Disney films as Cinderella, Peter Pan, and Alice in Wonderland, as well as going on to do a ton of things for Disney parks and resorts, Space Mountain just being one of them. There was a renovation planned for Tomorrowland in 1967, and Walt was hoping that this new space-themed attraction could be the center and the star of this renovation. So, at Walt's instruction, John Hench, along with artists Clem Hall, Herb Ryman, and George McGinnis, made the first concept art for an attraction called Space Voyage. This attraction was continuously worked on in the coming years and was officially referred to as Space Mountain in June of 1966. Disney partnered with the Aero Development Company, who had previously helped design the roller coaster system for the Matterhorn. The original concept included 4 separate tracks, though this was essentially impossible with the amount of space available in Disneyland's Tomorrowland. Between Walt's death in December and all of the prep work needed for the recently announced Walt Disney World, the Disney company was pretty preoccupied for the remainder of the 60s, so Space Mountain was put on hold for what they assumed to be indefinitely. But then, the Magic Kingdom opened right here in Orlando in 1971 and was shockingly popular with teens and young adults. Who would have thought? The popularity with this specific demographic encouraged the Disney company to start planning thrill rides for their new park very shortly after opening. At first, they considered recreating the Matterhorn bobsleds, but unfortunately there was not enough space in Orlando's Fantasyland to accommodate it. So, they hit the drawing board again with Space Mountain. Florida's Tomorrowland did have enough space to accommodate the attraction, and many of the technological setbacks that they had had during the initial design phase were no longer an issue because technology had advanced so much. Card Walker, who was president of the company at the time and eventually went on to be CEO, convinced RCA to sponsor Space Mountain. RCA had been contracted to provide all the communications hardware needed to run Walt Disney World. And in that same contract, it stated that if Disney provided an attraction of interest, RCA would give $10 million in sponsorship for that attraction. I guess Space Mountain was interesting enough for them. RCA remained the sponsor of Space Mountain from its opening in 1975 all the way up until 1993 when it ended its sponsorship. In 1994, FedEx took over sponsorship of the attraction, and that remained until 2004. The attraction has been sponsorless ever since, but honestly, it's just as timeless and classic as ever. Now that we've got the history of the development of the attraction down, let's talk about some fun facts. Space Mountain stands 183 feet tall, with its track being 3,196 feet long, and the ride lasts approximately 2 minutes and 30 seconds. When you first enter the queue for Space Mountain, you see this kind of ball pit area. It's definitely not supposed to be a ball pit, but it looks like a ball pit with like silver balls in it, and then you turn a corner and you go down a ramp. When you go down that ramp, you're entering what's called the Star Tunnel, and that's actually going underneath the Walt Disney World Railroad. There are so many rumors out there about different things that have happened on or because of Space Mountain, whether it be deaths or injuries or whatever. People just always seem to have a new story about something that they heard happened on Space Mountain. So I am here to tell you that there have only been 4 fatalities caused even remotely by Space Mountain at Walt Disney World. All 4 of the fatalities correlated with Space Mountain and Walt Disney World are the direct result of pre-existing medical conditions, and that was confirmed by medical professionals. So Space Mountain itself in Walt Disney World has not actually killed anyone. Over the years, Space Mountain has of course undergone some renovations, and the most notable one happened in 2009. The attraction closed from April to November for this refurbishment, and it was estimated to cost around $12.3 million. Some notable things about this refurb are that the trains that had previously glowed in the dark no longer do so, and they added a new on-ride photo camera. Space Mountain is one of the most beloved, well-known, and recognizable attractions in Disney history. Its popularity has allowed for it to be replicated in Disney parks all around the globe, starting with Disneyland in 1977, then Tokyo Disneyland in 1983, Disneyland Paris in 1995, and finally Hong Kong Disneyland in 2005, with the only park not having Space Mountain being Shanghai Disneyland. Space Mountain has been creating magical moments for Disney guests for over 40 years, and that's why it's an important part of our Distory. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this month's episode of Distory. In the comments below, let me know what your favorite Disney mountain is. Is it the Matterhorn, or maybe even Mine Train, because that's kind of a mountain, or is it our beloved Space Mountain? I'd love to hear what you guys think, so let me know. And as always, for more magical Disney content and episodes of Distory every month, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a magical day, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!